Hello and welcome to the United Community Channel. This is your match preview for Bayern Munich versus Manchester United. The Champions League is back. We've got plenty to talk about. As usual, get your comments in below. Smash a like on the video. Hit subscribe. Let's get right into it. So we're going to start with the defence with Manchester United, guys. And look, as we know, we've been conceding a lot of goals this season so far. 10 goals conceded already in 5 games in the Premier League. It's just not up to scratch. It really isn't. Now, we know, I suppose, a lot of the basis of Manchester United's good season last year was around the fact that we didn't concede a lot of goals. We didn't score an awful lot of goals as well, so that defence was vitally important to Manchester United last year. Now, we've got massive concerns within our defence at the moment in terms of injuries. Obviously Luke Shaw is out, Malacia is out, Varane is out, and now Aaron Wan-Bissaka is out. Now look, I suppose Dalot and Reguilon, especially Reguilon on the weekend, had a really good game, and we've seen in the game before against Arsenal, Dalot playing really well on the left side of the defence as well. It looks like Lindelof and Martinez again at centre-back. Obviously, Harry Maguire is not getting anywhere close to the team. Johnny Evans is there as well. But I think it's vitally important that them two stay fit. Varane is not going to be back in time for it. So our defence needs to get its act together relatively quickly, because the games are coming thick and fast now with the Champions League back. Premier League games, we've got the Carabao Cup starting as well next week. So there's going to be games on games on games. And if we're going to have any success this season, we're going to have a solid defence. Now, I include Onana in this as well. He's not outside the realms of criticism here either. He hasn't started his Manchester United career relatively well. You can't say he has if he's conceded 10 goals in 5 games in the Premier League. So, I think the quicker we can get our defence shored up, stop conceding goals, I think the better chance we'll have at actually going on and having good performances, given our forward line and our midfield, I suppose, that base to go on and win games. So, look, defence is going to be vitally important. Again, we'll get on to my predicted 11 in a few minutes, but it's not looking good with the amount of injuries that we have. And look, I can understand the frustration that Erik ten Hag is seeing here. We're conceding soft goals as well, especially in the game against Brighton on the weekend. Now obviously you go back to the Arsenal game. I think you could say that the Odegaard goal probably came from a lack of midfield cover. You could nearly say that about the first Brighton goal on the weekend as well. Scott McTominay obviously not coming back and helping out his defence. But I think a defence's job is to talk to your midfield, is to make sure that, you're getting guys in covering you when you need it. So the sooner we can get our defenders back to the levels that they played at last year, then I think the sooner we can turn this around and actually start improving and going on and winning games. Now, let's talk as well about the injury list, because it's something that we just can't skim over, Now, again, I don't want to be putting excuses in place going into such a big game against Bayern Munich, because I think regardless of whatever team goes out and plays on Wednesday night, needs to be up for this game. These are the games that you relish as a player. You want to be playing in the biggest games, on the biggest stage. And we fought so hard last year to get into top 4 that this is the outcome now. So go out and give everything you can. But injuries can't be overlooked here. Obviously we've already mentioned the injuries in defence. Wan-Bissaka, Luke Shaw, Malacia, Varane. I mean, that's nearly a starting back 4 straight away. You go into midfield then, there's doubts over whether Amrabat will be back or not. Obviously Mason Mount is still missing. Obviously you go to maybe the forward line then as well. And obviously we've got Sancho and Anthony missing for different reasons. Anthony Martial still doesn't seem to be back to 90 minutes. We've got Rasmus Højlund, who came off after 70 minutes on the weekend. And we did know that when he signed for Manchester United, it was said early on that he will not be able to play 2 games a week for, the first couple of weeks until he gets maybe his fitness levels back up, with fear maybe of a stress fracture within his back. So what way does that leave us going forward? Does he start? Does he bring him on? I think he has to start, in my opinion. So Manchester United are at bare bones here, you would have to say. Now, does that mean that we can't go out and get a result against Bayern Munich? Absolutely not. But on the basis of the performance levels that we've seen so far this season, it's going to be a very difficult game for Manchester United. But we've seen Manchester United over the years pull out big performances against big teams. You know, last year we done it against Barcelona. We all remember the likes of the nights in Paris and so on and so forth. So, you know, Manchester United are a club that can go out in these big games and get a result. Do I think we will? It's going to be very, very difficult, you would have to say. You know, Bayern Munich are one of the best teams in Europe. Harry Kane. We'll get on to Bayern Munich in a moment. So, Manchester United's starting lineup, I think, is going to be very important. I think Erik ten Hag needs to pick the right team with the right formation. And we need to be very resolute. Again, I go back to our defence. We're probably going to be backs to the wall for the majority of the game. Bayern Munich are a better side than us. Absolutely. I would be the first one to admit that. But I think if we can go out, put in a good defensive performance, take our chances if and when they come, I think we can get something out of this game. So let's see what happens, but it's going to be a difficult night. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Now, let's talk about Bayern Munich. Now, look, we know how good Bayern Munich are. However, I wouldn't be overly fearful going up against Bayern Munich. You know, they're not unbeatable by any stretch of the imagination. They're joint top of the Bundesliga at the moment alongside Bayer Leverkusen, who they did play on the weekend, and they played out a 2-2 draw. So, you know, they're not unbeatable. Absolutely, they're not unbeatable. And, you know, going away to Bayern Munich in the Champions League, I think the main priority is not to lose. And I think that's been the case for a long time within Europe. Going away from home in the group stage, your first priority is not to lose. And second priority then is, okay, what can we get out of the game? Now look, Bayern Munich are missing a number of different players through injury as well. We're not the only ones. Joshua Kimmich is a doubt, along with Manuel Neuer, Kingsley Coman. However, look, they do have the likes of Harry Kane, Leroy Sané, Musiala, Serge Gnabry. All of these types of players are fit and ready to play. So they have got quality within their team. But again, I go back to what I'm saying. You know, a lot of this game is going to be based around Manchester United's defence. How resolute we can be against them. And like I said, priority number one is to not lose the game. Stay in the game for as long as possible. And I know this sounds, you know, I don't like saying this from a Manchester United standpoint, because we should be going out trying to win every game, and I hope we do go out and try and win the game. But limit the chances for Bayern Munich. Stay within the game. If it's 0-0, 1-1 with 20 minutes to go, 15 minutes to go, all of a sudden you've got a chance. So I think that needs to be the priority for Manchester United, given, I suppose, the lack of, or the amount of injuries that we've got. We're down to the bare bones. But if we can be still thereabouts with 20 minutes to go, I think we've got a chance. Okay, let's get into our predicted 11, and this is the 11 that I think might start against Bayern Munich on Wednesday night. Now again, look, it is in relation to maybe a couple of players actually being available. We don't know whether they're back or not, but I'll put it up on the screen for you guys. This is the starting 11 that I think will start. I think the back four or back five is pretty much sewn up. Obviously, you've got Andre Onana in goal, Delot at right back, Reguilon at left back, Lindelof and Martinez then as our two centre-backs. I think it's pretty much, you know, the best defence that we've got, given the injuries that we have. And I don't think Erik ten Hag will deviate too much from that back five. In midfield then, now this is all in relation to whether Amrabat is available and fit or not. I think he will offer an awful lot of energy within the midfield. Now, again, it's probably not going to be Casemiro as a single pivot. You're probably going to be looking at Amrabat playing a lot closer to Casemiro. But midfield of Casemiro, Amrabat and Bruno Fernandes. And like I said, I think Amrabat will offer us the legs, especially defensively and also in transition. I think our transition has been so poor this season. You know, going from defence to attack and attack to defence. We're very, very slow in the transition. And I think he'll provide a lot of, I suppose, well-needed energy and legs within that midfield. I think, look, obviously Casemiro hasn't had a good start to the season, but I think he's been asked to do an awful lot as well. He needs an awful lot of help in there. And I think teams are starting to realise that, you know, if we overload the area that Casemiro is kind of defending and kind of marshalling, then we can have a lot of success against Manchester United. So I think Amrabat will give a lot of well-needed help to that as well. And a forward line then, guys, of Garnacho, Rashford and Højlund. Now, this is very much so me wanting Garnacho to start. Whether he does or not, I don't know. I think we've seen on the weekend the lack of creativity, the lack of energy, the lack of quality that Scott McTominay gave us on that right-hand side. And I think it's time to play the youth a little bit more. You know, obviously Pellistri is probably going to be knocking on the door as well in the coming weeks, with obviously Sancho and Anthony being out as well. I think this gives us an awful lot of pace in our front three, and I think it will pose a lot of problems to Bayern Munich if we decide to go with it. Bruno playing just behind him, creating, with the comfort and the security of Amrabat and Casemiro just behind Bruno Fernandes. I think this would give us an awful lot of joy against Bayern Munich, but it remains to be seen. That's my starting 11. That's what I hope starts, but let me know what you would go with in the comment section below. Now, if we're going with a score prediction, I mean, look, it's a difficult one, really, isn't it? Bayern Munich are in their home stomping ground. Manchester United haven't started the season well. I just have a feeling that this could be a game that Manchester United maybe turn a little bit of a corner. Now, I did say that against Brighton in my preview for their game last week as well. So it's all down to the team I think Erik ten Hag picks. I think we've got the quality within the squad. If we pick the team right, I think we've got a chance of really putting it up against Bayern Munich. But again, I mean, like I said, I think getting out of Munich with a draw would be a very, very positive result for Manchester United. So for that reason, I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. I think goals from Rasmus Højlund, I think he'll get off the mark. But again, it's all down to whether Erik ten Hag picks the right team or not. Garnacho on the right-hand side, I'm in favour of. You know, Rashford off the left, Højlund through the middle, Bruno, Casemiro, Amrabat. I think that is a good team. I really do. That I think, if on its day plays well, can challenge a lot of teams throughout Europe. But that's my score prediction, guys. Let me know your score prediction in the comment section below. We're going to be doing a watch along for it. We'll be live tomorrow night for the game, so make sure you're joining us for that. We'll be back tonight as well from 9 o'clock to talk all things Manchester United, all of the latest Manchester United news. Please do hit the like and subscribe button. Hit the share button too. I hope to see you tonight and again tomorrow for the watch along. Chat to you soon.